So I usually start, if I'm doing like a recording,
Mhm.
I always start with that way you can sync up the video and audio. The same
Mhm.
thing in recording.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm gonna be trying not to look at the laptop down there.
I know I'm gonna have to. It's like when you're on Zoom or like on FaceTime, and you never look at the person you're talking to. You just look at yourself. It's just a little mini mirror.
No, if you were to give me a multiple choice quiz about anything visually that's happening in a Zoom call,
I'd fail.
I couldn't answer it. I wouldn't be able to answer a single one of them
Mm-mm.
because I'm staring at my fuzzy image
Yep,
the entire
exactly.
time. Because out of all the fuzzy images, I need to be the best. I need to be the best fuzzy image.
I need to make sure I'm not too horrendously ugly because Zoom never does any
No,
favors. I just need to make sure it's not too terrible.
no. I need to. It needs to be always capturing my good side. I
Mhm.
need to be staring either at the camera or at a polite, direction,
Mhm.
so I don't just look like I'm.
I also have a horrible issue of looking like I'm angry constantly, so I really gotta check
Hmm. Yeah, you don't
a
want
pleasant smile.
you don't want the subtitles of the face to come
No,
out.
it's my real issue in life.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what I'm thinking, and it's not because I say it.
I'm so
It's
glad
just, it's all over.
I'm so glad things have moved beyond the necessity for Zoom calls. Trying to do stuff like youth group, not even youth group. I did
I did Bible study over Zoom, and it was like 6 people, but it was so laggy and weird. Everyone was talking over each other.
awful.
Oh, it was so bad.
I think the worst experience for me is that when like Zoom was really happening, I was a part of a game night of friends, and the idea was let's move all of our let's do online games and everything. But no one there in the group knows how to like play video games or play something that you can really do online.
Hmm.
They're like, how do we take a bunch of people who traditionally play yard games, our biggest game, friggin' croquet.
Hmm.
You can't play that online. And so on top of trying to figure out Zoom as a whole, we have to try to figure out what are games that we can play online.
How'd that go?
A nightmare.
I can only imagine.
Nightmare. I think the most successful one we could find was like Mafia, kind of, but
Kind of.
really, really just one of the more sinful moments in human history.
How are you enjoying today's beverage?
I'm enjoying today's beverage very nicely. Do you want to give us an introduction as to what we have here today?
Yeah, I made our drink today. It's a lemon drop martini. I wasn't fancy enough to make it from scratch ingredients, but it is from a mix. Um, that's why it's so yellow.
It's it's
And I added a little triple sec just, for funsies.
it's like if I were to look at the color and simply guess what it is, it looks like a melon.
Well, that's just because the glasses are colored weird.
I feel like it's like a melon yellow. Yellow melon.
So we have a lemon drop martini.
Lovely. Well, let me see if I can get an intro out of here. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Cole. I am joined today by my wife Kenny. Um, trying to do a podcast. I don't think I don't know if this will go anywhere.
You'll be lucky if you get more than 2 episodes out of us.
I think I think canonically I think canonically this is the second episode.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Because if you do the first time you do anything, it's not going to turn out great. It's going to be sketchy. It's going to be full of holes. There's going to be plot holes in the podcast. And so I think canonically this is the second episode. Welcome back to the second episode of the Deck Podcast on Deck.
Hmm.
You could also call it. You can't call it the Yard. There's already a
That already
podcast
exists.
called the Yard. We could do the Beach House Pod on a beach house. Um, something like that. I like the deck aspect. I think if we did it somewhere differently every single time, you change the name of what it is to
The name is different depending on location.
the name 100%
Hmm.
inherits where the location is. So today we are at Beach House Pod,
Hmm.
Pod at a beach house.
Happy to have you all here.
Happy to have you all here.
Also, do I look? Where am I supposed to look? Should I be looking right at the camera?
I think predominantly you'd be looking at me as if we were just having a conversation.
Awesome.
And if you are addressing the crowds of fans, chat, however you want to refer to them,
Shut out.
shout out chat, you would look at the camera. Which camera? Could not tell you.
I'll look in between.
Look in the middle space.
Yep.
That's what I do anytime. Anytime like a grandma will hold up their phone and be like, "All right, everyone smile." No, it's the worst when you have 14 grandparents all trying to take a picture,
Well, you know how my family holidays
and
went.
they're not even standing close to each other. You have a panorama of people, and
So
so
you do not get a single of all those photographers. There's not one picture of every single person looking at the same camera.
I think the meta move is to make every picture bad.
Well, that's how my family does it because we take family pictures in front of the Christmas tree. But somehow both my uncle, my grandma, and my cousin, and usually my dad are all taking pictures at the same time on their phones. So there's never a picture where everyone's paying attention or looking.
I think what you need to do is you need to sort of stare at a medium up. I can't do that. I think I'm gonna redo that scene because I just made a gesture there. That wasn't cool. You can't do
It was not locked
you
in.
you can't do that. Just take two on that. I think what you need to do is
Sorry.
what?
It just tickled me.
Yeah, you didn't even catch it.
No, I really didn't.
I think what you need to do is you need to look up at a medium middle.
But you gesture with your head.
You need you need to look up at a medium middle
Mhm.
and stare into the beyond, so that it doesn't matter it doesn't matter who got the photo. They're all bad.
True, but they're all the same kind of bad.
They're all the same kind of bad. I
Mhm.
don't play favorites.
No.
I do, but I don't.
No.
Well, you know. Well, welcome. I was going to refer to you as the guest, but I don't think it makes sense to just have you as a guest. Maybe
It just feels insulting, honestly.
you're the guest as co-host
Exactly.
of the episode.
Mhm.
Today's topic is one that I've spent a long time thinking about.
Mhm.
I actually had several iterations of this.
Mhm.
It has been refined down to sort of a very specific version of the original idea. So today's topic, food.
Love it.
There was no.
Great.
That's that's all I want to talk about.
Anything about food or just
Well, you can. There's so much. There's so much
so much to say?
so much to
But
say
where do you even
about food.
begin?
Um, maybe we'll start with an introduction. We can introduce ourselves within the respect of food, not like what kind of food we are.
Oh, that's what I thought you were saying.
Well, now we have to do it. So, if you were a food, what would you be?
I think probably a pineapple.
A pineapple. Is it right side up?
Yeah.
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 For now.
Well.
Well,
Yeah.
please. Is there anything specific about the pineapple?
It just felt right in my soul.
Mm-hmm.
I love pineapple. I feel like it's pokey on the outside.
Pokey on the outside, acidic, and
Well, I hate to say juicy on the inside, but
yeah, but you can't deny that that's not a trait of pineapple.
and of people. People are usually juicy on the inside.
I would hope so. You know.
Mhm.
If I were a gosh, if I were a food, I did a lot of prep for the episode. If I were a food, I think I'd have to be a sushi roll. I think I'd have to be a sushi roll. Um, you seem really against that.
Well, the thing is, I like you and I hate sushi, so that does not feel right.
Okay,
That's not my truth.
okay, well you'll never see pineapple and sushi next to each other,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
unless you have like a really messed up, like a messed up buffet. I think the reason that I would be classified as a sushi roll,
Mhm.
um, is I would like to live my life wrapped in seaweed.
Elaborate on that.
I just like seaweed. I think I would like to be wrapped. I'd be wrapped forever, mummified even.
Mhm.
You know how they would use
I feel like I can make this a reality for you.
they would season the linens for the mummies,
Mhm.
and they would um after removing the brain from the nose, they would embalm them with spices, and then they would wrap them in pieces of linen
Mhm.
to preserve them for all the time. And I think I want that to be done to me after I die. Uh,
You want to be embalmed?
I want to be embalmed. Well, no. Specifically, I want to be wrapped. I want to be wrapped in sushi.
I
Sorry, I want to be
hmm.
wrapped in seaweed and kind of turned into sushi in a sense.
Human sushi.
Is that not a mummy? You know,
I mean, it's one way to look at it.
I think it's one.
I think you'll be lucky to find uh a mortician, someone who handles dead bodies. I think you'd be lucky to find one who's willing to honor this request.
My answer to that, everyone has a price.
And we're gonna pray I'm long dead because I will not be wrapping you in sushi.
You would not honor that as a final wish.
I
If I
mean,
wanted to,
are you gonna haunt me if I don't?
you might be getting haunted regardless. But do you,
If I get punished no matter what I do, why would I go out of my way to do anything?
I don't know if I have an argument for that. So now that we got that out of the way, I just want to talk about food.
Hmm.
Anything food, all things food.
Hmm.
Um, favorite foods, worst foods. If you have food stories, foods you used to like. I think we could really jump into a variety of topics here. Um, tell me about some of your favorite foods.
My favorite foods.
What are your favorite foods? Kenny from the pod.
Can we circle back to favorite foods? Because
Okay.
you saying um foods that you used to like reminds me of this story.
Okay.
And I know my grandma will not be watching this video, so I'm gonna call her out.
I would call out people who are going to watch the video too.
Well, this is not a flattering light for my grandmother.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm excited.
So I was obsessed with salami as a child. Ate it constantly.
And you don't like salami.
No, I hate salami. I do not like salami.
Can I wager? Is it because of the story?
No.
Okay, go on. Go on.
So I was just, you just go through phases. I was obsessed with salami. Now I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot to it. The meat of the story, however,
The salami of the story.
yeah, no pun intended, is that because I like salami so much, my grandma did what grandmas do and stocked up salami in her house because grandmas stock up their
Of course.
grandkids' favorite foods.
Yeah.
And then eventually I grew out of salami and I told Mama, I don't like salami anymore. I don't really want it
On a
anymore.
whim, as kids do.
Yep. And I've stuck to it.
Change it up real quick.
Um, I don't think it was until maybe 2 years ago that she finally remembered. By the way, I was like 12 when I told her I didn't like salami anymore.
2 years ago, meaning 2023.
Yeah. I'm 24. I think I was like 22 when it finally stuck. I do not like salami.
And she'd been told this.
Yes, no, repeatedly, because she would also keep buying salami and go, "Why aren't you eating the salami?" And I'd be like, "Grandma, Grandma, it's a no for me."
That's a no, that's gonna be a no for me on the salami.
But at least she remembers the salami, because never once in my life have I ever liked a single melon. Not watermelon, not cantaloupe,
No melons.
not a single melon.
No melons.
She still forgets though. I have never once mentioned that I like a melon thing. In fact, I viscerally and aggressively hate it.
And remind
She
me,
still forgets.
is because if someone says I don't like a food, it's either a flavor thing or it's a texture thing. Is it a flavor or a texture thing for you to not like melon?
It's honestly both. I hate how watermelon tastes
Really?
like, so much. I hate it. I don't want artificial watermelon. I want real watermelon. It could be 100 degrees in July, and it could be the crispiest and juiciest watermelon in the world.
See, you can get too juicy when it comes to watermelon.
It could be the best watermelon.
Okay.
I'm telling
Crisp.
you, it could be the best watermelon in the
It could
world.
be a crisp water.
No.
No.
It's gross.
And no melon falls under that. It's not just the flavor of watermelon.
I hate how cantaloupe tastes.
Cantaloupe.
I hate
Honeydew.
cantaloupe tastes worse than watermelon.
Cantaloupe's worse?
Cantaloupe tastes worse than watermelon.
I would prefer cantaloupe over watermelon.
I think you're just wrong.
I think honeydew canonically has to be in the back of the pack.
Honeydew's actually the only one that I can barely stomach. I don't want it.
Why?
I don't know. It's probably the most mild. It has the least amount of flavor, so it's the most palatable.
It's the lowest of the melons.
Yeah.
You get less melon per melon.
Yeah, exactly.
Less melon per melon.
I like it because it tastes less like a melon.
Sure. Yeah. So that's one of your least favorite foods.
Melons.
Melons.
By far.
Melons. Let's go back to your favorite foods.
When I derailed your question. Okay. Well, I like a lot of food.
Sure.
I mean, I think Boursin cheese has really got to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
I am on record for saying I would whore myself out for some Boursin cheese.
There's a lot of foods.
I'd sell my body for a lot of
I
food.
would sell my body for a lot of food. I
Hmm.
don't look the type. I really like food. I really,
Really like food.
I
I mean, I'd
really
eat
like
anything Italian.
food.
I'd eat anything Mexican food.
Mexican food
Tacos
for
for
sure.
days. I mean, like that, but that's so like basic and stereotypical. Everyone likes that.
Sure.
Try to think of something very specific I love.
What's the food that everyone's like, I'm different than other people. I like blank food. Is it Italian? Or is it, you know what? I bet it's something like Portuguese, where people are like,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm trying to think of a culture of food where someone's like,
Like I'm not like other people. I've had authentic Guatemalan food, and it's just the
exactly.
best thing that ever
Well, like if
existed.
you asked a friend, you're like, "Oh, what's your favorite food?" A normie would be like, "I like Mexican food. I like Italian food." And then
Mm,
you get that one friend, excuse me,
nice.
you get that one friend who just came back from a missions trip,
It's pronounced Barcelona.
Barcelona,
Like that vibe of a person.
Barcelona. Yeah.
Uh-huh,
Yeah,
mhm.
and they're like, "Actually, you know, I'm trying to think of things
I could never eat a store-bought tortilla ever again because I've had handmade tortillas in Ensenada.
it's pronounced tortilla."
I hate people like that.
Yeah. I think I think that ruins it for everyone when you're
Mhm.
like, "Oh, where do we go to eat?" And they're like, "I'll go get some Mexicano, some Mexican food." They're like, "Actually, I will take the oh my gosh, people who overpronounce the Italian accent in anything."
Mhm.
Yeah. It's like, can we all agree that we just want to eat the damn food?
Mhm. It could be the most like I could eat just Americanized Mexican food.
Hmm.
I've been to Mexico. I love their food right there,
Good
authentic.
food. Good food.
I'll
Never been.
also go to Taco Bell and have a blast.
The American Mexican.
Yeah,
As long as it's acknowledged that that's not Mexican food, it can be it
it's
can
all good.
it
I
can
just want
be
good tasting food.
it can be brought into society
Mhm.
like that.
Okay. I'm trying to think of some interesting of my favorite foods.
Interesting in the favorite foods. You have eaten all around the world.
I've eaten a lot of places.
Um, Tell me a little bit about some of the weird food you've had
Let's
around the
see.
world. Because I have not done as much travel as you have.
Trying to think of some of the weirdest foods I've eaten. Honestly, most of my traveling was done when I was younger, so I was much less adventurous. I've eaten cougar.
Cougar.
Yep. We got a cougar from a friend who does trapping and
Mhm.
processed that out because we have a meat processor. And I've had cougar hamburgers. I guess they're not hamburgers at that point. There's cougar burgers.
When I met you for the first time, that was one of the things that your family immediately pushed upon me. And I say pushed in a good way.
Fair enough.
Because they did not enforce it, but they highly recommended it
Because it's delicious. It
because
is delicious.
it was pretty damn good.
I've also had a roast that was a bobcat.
Hmm.
That was very good. I mean, the way it was prepared was very spicy, but that was not the bobcat's fault. That was, you know,
Spicy bobcat,
there's seasonings and spices.
spicy
I've eaten beaver tail.
critters.
Beaver tail is disgusting. It's just fat.
Sounds
Uh,
nasty.
I did. I will look like a hypocrite when I say this. I did only eat it to tell people I have eaten it, which
That's
does make me look insufferable, but I have done that.
I do that for a number of reasons. There have been things where I'm like, I tried so and so. I remember at like Thanksgiving or something when my dad brought home like a turkey that he bought from Costco or whatever. And in some turkeys that you buy, you can get like the little pack of organs, the high quality organs in there.
Mhm.
And so when my dad was like, "Oh my gosh, kids come in. You guys want to try some turkey heart? You want to try some
I've
turkey
eaten
heart?"
a lot of heart.
I was so excited, not because I was like, "This is going to be a high, eloquent, fancy
A delicacy.
delicacy of a meal, the richest." I was like, "Shit, yeah, I get to eat turkey heart."
I've eaten a
Um,
lot of deer heart.
Deer heart. I haven't had deer heart.
Eaten a lot of deer heart. That one feels less exotic simply because of the frequency at which I've eaten it.
I guess that really depends on your upbringing.
I mean, I've been to China, so I've had a lot of really good authentic Chinese food. I tried thousand-year-old eggs. I've tried eel. Um, I've been on a couple of missions trips where I wasn't 100% certain on what meat I was ingesting.
No,
So there are things I could have eaten that I have no idea I have eaten.
like maybe dog,
Yeah, like maybe dog.
maybe dog.
Like maybe.
Oh gosh,
It feels like I don't know. It's not like highly likely, but I have ingested mystery meat of some kind
mystery
in
meat.
another country.
Yeah, I feel like there's mystery meat in America that is
Oh yeah, you eat a hot dog, you don't know what you're eating.
That's the thing is I really like hot dogs.
See, I can't get behind
Maybe
that.
if I wasn't a sushi roll, I think I'd be a like a standard hot dog, just shot right out of the machine.
I don't know about that.
No,
I can't get behind you on that.
you can't get behind me as a hot dog.
I mean, I think you're a wiener, but I can't get behind you on liking hot dogs.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm trying to think of some
Are you gonna like me on your favorite foods or weirdest foods?
weirdest foods and favorite foods. Favorite foods, all food. That's a cop-out answer. I think it'd be easier actually to say what foods I don't like.
I know one food you really hate.
Go ahead.
It's celery.
Celery. 100%. Celery is a weird one because as a kid, as a kid, there's a high number of items. Kids don't like any food.
And kids are picky
Kids are
naturally.
picky. If it's not in the shape of a dinosaur chicken nugget, they're not going to eat it.
I mean, can you blame them? Dinosaur chicken nuggets rock.
They still slap really hard. And so, as a kid, I had a list of veggies and foods that I didn't like. Wasn't too keen on radishes for a second. I love them now. I kind of like Brussels sprouts. Love them now.
I do like Brussels sprouts.
Really good, really good. And celery was one of those things where I hated every single thing about celery. I hated the fibrousness of it, the smell, the
It has no smell.
oh, it smells repulsive.
I don't know. I love celery.
I'll
It
pick
does
that
not
up
have a
I'll
smell.
pick that up a mile away if I'm smelling celery. It's terrible on all accounts, and I wanted to try to identify the moment in my upbringing where I would love celery.
Mhm.
Because all those other foods I ended up really liking.
Mhm.
I love radishes now. I love Brussels sprouts now.
Mhm.
I love asparagus. All that's so good.
Mhm.
Celery, every single year for like Christmas, there's always a relative that brings like a veggie platter. And I will always try a piece of the celery.
Mhm.
Um,
Never.
I then violently spit it into a garbage can out of absolute disgust because it's a terrible
So
food.
no, it's no for an ants on a log for you.
Okay. Okay. That's the other thing that every single person does. Anytime I have this conversation where I'm like, I don't like celery, there's always, have you tried? And it's always the dumbest thing. They always come up with the dumbest way to have
I mean, I like ants on a log.
Yeah, apparently everyone loves ants on a log. You'll get so I'll tell someone, I'll be like, I don't like celery. And they're like, oh, you haven't had it the right way. Have you had it with peanut butter? I'm like, dude, yes, I did. Guess
Mhm.
what? Peanut butter with celery, couldn't stand the celery aspect of it. I'd rather just suck the peanut butter off it like a dip.
You'd rather suck the peanut butter off.
I'd suck the peanut butter off if that's what it's gonna take for me to convince you to stop talking about ants on a log. And so then I'll talk to another person, and they're like, "Have you tried putting whipped cheese on it?"
I have never heard that.
No, people are like dip it in cheese, put cheese on it.
Okay, well,
Put
okay.
put cream cheese on it. Put something different on it. Every single person.
I'm gonna take a stab and say those were all white people that told you that, correct?
Yeah.
White people tell you to put cream cheese on everything.
White people eat celery.
Everyone eats
No one
celery.
eats celery. It's a terrible vegetable.
In a chicken noodle soup, like diced up like real fine.
That's the only way I will allow it. I am not
I've snuck celery into dishes I've made for you.
I am not a picky eater, and I will acknowledge that celery is probably good for me.
I mean, lots of veggies are good for you, and you eat all the other ones.
I know.
You're not difficult to cook for.
No. And I will allow it to be snuck in.
You don't even really like curry, and you'll eat curry I make.
Curry's another one that I can't really identify the appeal to it at all.
So good.
And then again,
So
you
good.
tell people, I'm like, oh, I don't like curry. They're like, oh, have you tried yellow curry? Have you tried red? Dude, green curry? I'm like, yeah. Yep, tried them. Tried them. It's curry. It's still curry. I don't want it.
When my this is a side tangent, but curry triggered a memory.
Go for it.
So my dad went for a 2-week trip in India. It was like a mission trip / he actually got to meet like our sponsor child we had had for years and years and years. Very cool.
Very cool.
But because he was in India, he was obviously eating curry every single day. So he comes back from his 2-week trip. I'm like, I don't know, 8 or something. So, and I'm the oldest, so all my siblings are younger. So my mom was left with 3 kids, 8 and under.
Yep.
And she makes this really nice meal to celebrate dad being home for 2 weeks. But what she failed to take into account was the fact that dad had only ever eaten curry for the last 2 weeks, and she made curry for dinner for his 15th day in a row.
Yep.
And he made pancakes for himself.
I'm sure he was so excited. I'm
He
sure he
it
was
was
so
it was a
excited.
thank you so much, honey. They had a real good laugh over the lapse in judgment, and he made himself pancakes.
Yeah. I need my American food
Mhm.
back. See, I really like American food. Can you call anything American if it's not just a stolen culture from somewhere else?
We ruin other people's food.
We take,
It's still good, it is ruined, objectively
you
speaking.
know, like think of an authentic Italian margarita pizza.
Mhm,
Think of the fresh sauce, the
mhm.
fresh dough, the fresh cheese that was in that. Um, Americans will say, I want nothing more than a Little Caesars pizza that you could soak up. You could pour the grease out of the little pepperoni
Mhm.
cups on there. Each one, just a little
It's a shot.
it's a shot glass,
Mhm.
a little shot glass of grease.
And you know what? Both of those things, delicious. Little Caesars is ruined. Like, it has ruined
Yeah.
Italian cuisine,
Uh-huh.
but they're both great.
And it's
I'll eat them both.
I can't deny that. I can't deny that I think Little Caesars is really good. It's the
Mhm.
McDonald's of pizza
Yeah.
above all things. I remember back in summer camp growing up. This was through my church.
Mhm.
I had a bunkmate whose name was Felix, and he was a foreign exchange student. He was from Germany.
Mhm.
And he was a really cool guy because he was bilingual. He could speak perfect German. And so we would tell him, like, we'd give him a sentence to say, and he would say it in German, and it always sounded so angry. And so we'd be like, dude, tell us, we're in the cabin. And he would go off on this angry tirade. Um, and we were very impressed. So Felix was hella cool.
Mhm.
But the other nuance of having Felix around is that that guy was not accustomed to American snacks by any means.
So they're just sugar bombs to him.
They were cardiac arrest in in a package.
Mhm.
Now, I didn't grow up with a ton of sweets, but I know what a Twinkie is,
I've never had a Twinkie.
Awful.
Fun fact.
Unless you grew up with them, not good. Very, very bad.
I grew up with a crunchy mom. I did not eat
And
Twinkies.
I remember the food that we offered him that sent him over.
Mhm.
One kid had brought this little the fishnet bags, the little slutty bags that apples come in.
Apples?
Yeah, you get like a red bag of apples, and it's like,
I'm thinking of onions.
sure, you can do that.
Okay.
You can get
Alright, same thing.
slutty onions.
Awesome.
Someone had a little fishnet bag full of like 2 ounce like Jello.
Well, like the little Jello
The
cups?
little Jello
Okay, those
cups.
are nasty though.
Yeah,
They're nasty.
yeah, because they come in colors that don't exist in
Yeah,
nature
yeah. And also,
whatsoever.
Jello's gross.
Jello is gross. I will eat Jello, but Jello is gross.
Jello's gross.
And so we were like, "Hey Felix, come over here. You gotta try this, you know." And we had just given him like a Rice Krispie treat. Had to wake him up out of a coma from that one. We had just given him, yeah, like a Twinkie. We gave him a ding dong or
Mhm,
something. Some kid had like a king size Snickers. He straight up exorcised it in
mhm.
the name of Jesus, amen. And we're like, dude, you gotta try this. You gotta try this. It's Jello. And he knew what, gelatin was.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what color. Like, why is that?
It's like, why
Why is
is it
that?
neon
Why is
blue?
it highlighter yellow? That's not a thing you find
The only
anywhere.
time you see that in nature is when something's poisonous.
That's on a poison frog.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so
exactly.
we gave him the Jello. And he spat that across the cabin.
Yeah, understandably.
And
Reasonably.
he then started swearing at us in German, asking us why Americans ruin everything.
You know what? Fair question.
Super fair question.
Super fair.
Um,
Legit.
and I still think about that. I still think about how cool Felix was, and I also think about how shameful it is that us as Americans just taint everything.
Yeah.
We just need to ruin all of it.
Mhm.
Um,
How's the bev?
it's a wonderful beverage, by the way. Perfect amount of alcohol.
Obvi.
My next question would be, what are foods that, I'll pose it this way.
Mhm.
What are odd food combos that you like? Everyone has some sins, some absolute sinful combos.
What do you think? I'm a pretty basic bitch. Like I'm not that crazy with the food.
Some of the wilder ones that I've heard is one guy really liked mustard on his ice cream.
Oh,
I'm not gonna try it.
no.
I would never try
Like
it.
I'm not like, like a little toddler with my palate. Like I won't only eat chicken nuggets, but like I'm also not that crazy. Like
Mhm.
I won't like I don't even like fries in a blizzard. I don't like that. That's
I've never
gross.
understood that.
I don't like that.
That's a wild difference in texture.
I just also think it to be gross. Um, like I even hate fruit with savory things.
That's right. You gotta
Like
split the flavor
I
types up
just
there.
find I don't think fruit has a place in a savory dish.
Mm-mm.
Don't put applesauce near my pork chops. Don't put pineapple near my meatballs or my pizza. Like
It's
not
all going to the same place.
I need the flavors to be separate. In fact, my ideal world is every single meal I eat is one of those like little kid divider plates.
The split up
Yeah.
dividers, you're like,
Like Thanksgiving's my nightmare because everything just starts melding and
you need like a
uh,
16 divided
if I have a side salad,
plate.
I'll put it in its own bowl so the dressing does not touch the rest of my
That's
meal.
right. You put salad in its own bowl.
It could I cannot have my salad
I need
dressing touch
I need
the
that
rest of
I
my
need
meal.
that little bit of a marriage between like salad dressing and like mashed potatoes or something. You get that like little bonus like zest
No,
bite of mashed
no.
potatoes.
If cranberry juice touches my turkey, that bite is
That's
thrown
where
out.
it belongs.
No.
When you make like a Thanksgiving sandwich the next
Absolutely
day, you
no.
need the cranberries
I
in it,
no.
a little
I will
sweet
no.
on the meat,
No.
and you're putting gravy in there. And it's
No. Because it's sweet. And sweet does not go with savory. I do not like sweet and savory things.
hmm
Sweet and salty is different. I do not like sweet and savory.
yeah.
I don't know. You know me better than I know myself half the time. What weird combos do I like? I
I'm
genuinely can't think of one.
I'm trying to think of odd things that you're like think back to stuff that like your parents, do you have stuff from your childhood that you're like, "Oh, um
Oh, I have one.
yeah,
So I've grown out of this. I don't like this anymore.
they usually move on."
Yeah, no, I grew out of this one, but this is one I thought was actually really normal
Yeah.
because my father likes green chilies in his spaghetti.
Like like the green
Like the
chilies
canned green
that you put
chilies.
on like nachos.
Yeah.
Okay.
He likes those in spaghetti because he likes his spaghetti spicy, but not red pepper flake spicy,
Wait, are those spicy?
kind of.
Those aren't like if you want spicy
He
spaghetti,
puts a lot in.
there's a million other things to put
That's what I'm
something in your
saying.
spaghetti if you want it
Well,
spicy.
no, what my opinion now is that's insane,
Uh-huh.
and he can keep his garbage to himself. But growing up, I knew no other way, and I was like, yeah, spaghetti has green chilies in it.
Hmm.
It just is. It is what it
That's
is.
just the way that the world
Yeah,
works.
that's how spaghetti is made. Why would it be made any other way?
So did you say he puts other things in his spaghetti?
No, he puts like lots of green chilies in.
Oh, he just
He
puts a
also
lot of
buys the
that.
tomatoes that have jalapenos in them,
The tomatoes that have
like canned
they
tomato.
sell those?
Yeah.
I have not seen them.
Well, I now find his way of making spaghetti to be nasty.
You found my way of making spaghetti nasty.
Well, cause it was wrong.
Oh well,
Yeah,
I have some. I will segue into some of my food sins.
perfect.
Very bad.
If some jog my memory, I'll bring them up.
Okay, okay. So I'll start by talking about the way that I made my spaghetti that you found to be inherently sinful.
Yeah, vile, in fact.
As a bachelor, who is both tight on cooking space
Hmm.
because I was like living out of people's upstairs bedrooms and backyard shacks, tight on cooking space and tight on money.
Hmm.
I made with what I had. And so if I were to make myself a spaghetti dinner, a classic,
Hmm.
one that I would still enjoy today,
Hmm.
I would go to the store and I would buy a box of spaghetti noodles. I almost said Paschetti for some reason.
That's how I said it when I was like
Paschetti.
little.
Every kid says
Paschetti.
Paschetti.
Yeah.
I would buy a box of Paschetti noodles.
Hmm.
I would buy like a loaf of garlic bread, in like the foil.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and then I would buy myself a jar of like a meat flavored like Newman's Own um like tomato sauce, like pasta sauce. I would then there's
I think there's like a squirrel on the roof.
squirrels in the trees. I would I would then make the spaghetti.
Mhm.
I would heat up the sauce, and I would put the sauce on the spaghetti. I would heat up the garlic bread, and I would eat that.
See, everyone's gonna listen to this and think, what other way do you make spaghetti?
Right.
But me personally, if I'm going to buy like a store-bought sauce that is simply my base,
hmm
I'm gonna work off of that. I want to add seasonings. I'm gonna add like a cooked meat. I want some
Okay.
like I'm gonna add to it. I find the bare bonesness of it to be gross.
That's just so many extra dishes though. If I have to like fry up
I don't know. I don't know.
like
I like
ground
good
beef or
food.
something, and I'm gonna put that on there.
My mom was also a really, really good cook, and I never lived
Yeah,
on my own before we got married.
that's true. That's true. You
So
didn't
it's
have
like I
that.
didn't have that like live on your own
Yeah.
scrape by season. I went from living in my parents' basement to being married.
Yeah. My mom is also a very good
Well,
cook,
yeah, she's great.
and that's I like food. I don't necessarily like cooking.
Oh, see, that's it. I also love to cook.
Yeah.
I love to cook.
You have your wizarding ways with like spices.
It's true. I'm a genius. Thank you.
A genius.
Yeah, obviously.
Genius with
Thank
spices.
you. It's true.
So apparently my spaghetti was sinful.
Not as sinful as my dad's bachelor spaghetti. Yours is better.
I will accept that. Um, I I had some lows
I know
when
exactly what story you're about to
when
share.
I lived alone. I can't prop my foot up without being weird.
I know my ankles are constantly at a funky angle right now.
I know. When I lived alone, like I said, didn't really have a great place to cook slash money to want to do things slash buy food
Mhm.
that could be really made to what it was meant to be. And so I would just kind of, I go shop. I went shopping like once a month,
Mhm.
and I would just kind of live out my pantry. I would replenish things like milk because that's not going to last a month, and I would just kind of live out my pantry. And so there were a couple times where I would go to my pantry and I would find something that I'm like, this is just calories. I don't even want to eat right now. I just need calories. I always saw eating as a burden, kind of. As someone who loves food, on the record, sometimes eating is a burden.
You want to eat to enjoy, not eat to sustain
That's
yourself.
exactly it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly it. I want to eat if to enjoy or to enjoy company. When I have to feed my human, not happy about it for the most part. And so there'd be times where I'd go to the pantry and I'd be like, canned corn, couple calories in there. Pop a thing of canned corn. Not gonna heat it up, not gonna do anything with that. I
It's shocking that that's not the most vile thing you've eaten.
no, I'm getting to the real sinner here. There was one evening where I was planning on making an actual dinner. I was planning on making an actual dinner. I mistimed my grocery trip wildly because when I got to the pantry, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
And my fridge barren slash wilted greens in the drawer at the bottom. And so I kind of had like a MacGyver moment. I kind of had like a coming to Christ with just sort of an acknowledgement of like this is what I have to work with and we're going to make do with what we have.
Mhm.
Um and I remember I found a bag of white rice, and I was like, you can make white rice. White rice is a great base."
Sorry, there's like a bug.
You getting attacked?
Yeah, sorry. Go continue.
There's like a bug on the outside of your glass. There we go. He thought the beverage was good too.
There we go. Okay.
Um, White rice is a great base, a great starter. You start with rice and you move on and you see where you can end up
Mhm.
with that. And so I did that. I made a thing of white rice. And I went to my pantry expecting to see soy sauce. You know, if I had soy sauce and a little thing of canned chicken, I would have been set. Like I said, there was nothing in there. There was squat diddly.
Mhm.
And so I opened my pantry and I saw one thing sitting in there. It was like sort of a haunting moment where I realized what I had to do and I didn't know if I had the strength to do it. Because sitting in the corner,
And you do realize the option in front of you was also to eat plain white rice, which is fine.
yes, yeah, put a little salt and pepper, you're good.
In fact, preferable.
Sitting in the corner of my pantry was a bottle of Winco
Mm.
brand maple syrup.
I state again, plain rice is fine.
I really, like I said, I needed calories
Uh-huh,
because
uh-huh.
I was dying.
Yeah,
I was dying, and I had to make a meal, and I realized, why the hell not? Actually, my
yeah.
reasoning is that I was like, people make rice pudding, and that's a sweet dessert
Mm,
that people make. So it's
I
like,
see the train of thought.
I was like, maybe it's not that bad of a bad. Maybe that's not as bad of an idea as I'm making it out to be. And so I put rice in a bowl, and I put syrup on it, and I didn't entirely hate it. I have not done it since, and I plan on not doing it. I finished that bowl of rice,
Gosh, so
and
gross.
I got my calories for the evening. Um, and I feel like that was really a real bachelor moment.
See, that's where you and I differ, is you looked in your pantry, saw you had nothing, and went, I'll make something gross out of the nothing and I'll eat it.
Mhm.
I have walked up to a pantry, hungry, it's mealtime. I see nothing, and I go, I'd rather just skip a meal than have something gross.
I couldn't do that.
I would rather skip. Like, if I'm gonna have something gross, it's fine. I'll just eat later.
Like I said, I love food, and
It's not good food.
I need food as well, and I would simply pass away. I would get so upset if I had to skip a meal. Then just make something up. It could have been amazing. It could have been the best thing I'd ever done. It wasn't. I had a long shot if I was going to hit any sort of success, but I had to try it.
Hmm.
I had to see if it would work. Um, I'm thinking of another food combo that I did.
Lay it on me.
I think this is the worst one.
Do I know about this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you do. This one was really bad. I was, again, living on my own, living out of a pantry. Once again, had not gone
Bachelor days.
bachelor days. Can't believe I lived through it.
Hmm.
And it was like lunchtime and I needed food. And I think I already had a plan for dinner. I had like a pizza I was gonna make.
Hmm.
I did like making homemade pizza. When I lived on my own, I wasn't 100% awful at making myself food.
Hmm.
I did cook.
Yeah.
It was very rare. And so, like, I think for dinner, I was planning on making like homemade pizza, like making dough, either dough from scratch or I was gonna do like the Winco dough or something. But lunch rolls around and I'm like, I don't have anything to eat. I was expecting to have stuff for a sandwich or whatever. Because in my pantry, I see a loaf of sourdough bread. Is this
This is
ring?
this is
This isn't
not
ringing
this
any
is
bell.
not ringing
I
a
know
bell.
for a fact I told you this story.
Keep going.
I look in my pantry and I see a loaf of sourdough bread,
Hmm.
and I'm like, well, calories. There we go. We're moving somewhere. You start with a base and you move off of that.
Hmm.
And so I pulled out the bread. I was like, this is still good. We can do something with this. And I looked around to see how can I add on top of this? Because again, I'm looking for calories at this point. I need fuel for the bod to keep going to make me help me last all the way till dinner
Hmm.
so I can have my homemade pizza. Really looking forward to it. And once again, I saw something sitting in the corner of my pantry, and I heard the little whisper,
Hmm.
um, and that was a bag of white sugar. And
I
my
feel like this one is not as bad.
no, it was because my lunch consisted of me opening a bag of white sugar, taking a piece of sourdough bread, and just dipping.
See, but the thing is, people have cinnamon and sugar on toast all the time.
I didn't toast it.
But like, just so like bread and sugar is not like that far
My
removed.
entire lunch was eating like 3 pieces of sourdough bread that I would bite and then dip into sugar and then bite and then dip into sugar.
I feel like that's not worse.
Really?
I don't think that's
That's not
worse.
worse than syrup
I
on
think that's I
rice.
think that's better than syrup
I
on
feel like in
rice.
both of those instances, my mother would be very unhappy with me.
Good thing she's not gonna listen to this. Or maybe
Maybe.
she will, I don't know.
Maybe she will, maybe she won't.
Shout out mom, I guess.
Hi, Mom. Hello. Love you. And so I had my fair share of moments where really shouldn't have eaten that. I think I should have taken the road that you did where I just skipped the meal entirely.
I mean, it's not the healthiest diet. Both are problematic,
Both
let's
are
be real.
problematic. Again, I was like, I need calories. I
Mhm.
need to get food into my bod.
Mhm.
And it was like, it worked. It's
Mhm.
behind me. And you know what? Makes for a good story
It was a good story.
in most cases.
I have a somewhat adjacent. It's not food, it's a beverage related, but it is a good story.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is a story for the viewers. You are well acquainted with this story.
Okay. Okay.
We were making bits on it. We were doing bits on it earlier today.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna direct this at the chat.
Okay.
What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
So my parents and Cole and I, we go wine tasting.
Mhm.
And this is really a story about my father.
I think I know where this
Yeah,
is
you know
going.
where this is going. With wine tasting, you get the wine, you swirl it, and you look at the legs, and
You
you
pretend
smell.
to know what's going on.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I know what I'm doing.
Yep. I know. I'm looking at those legs.
You look at the legs, you smell, you taste, you do the whole thing. My father, Rocky, is convinced he can smell different smells with either nostril. So when he gets wine, and this is at like nice wineries where we're doing wine tastings.
There are professionals around
There are
us.
professionals, people who know what they're doing. He swirls and he goes
Like he's snorting it.
like he's snorting cocaine. He goes at the tip and sniff,
The tip and sniff TM.
and he says he can smell different things.
The nose who we know because we are not in medieval England. We know it leads to the same part of the nose canal, the nasal
But
area.
he is married to the tip and sniff. He will do it every single time he gets a glass of wine, no matter what.
I need him to enter some sort of competition for like wine connoisseur,
Like a sommelier.
some sort of sommelier activity where he's around people who are hella fancy. These
Mhm.
people crazy retired.
And he's in his camo cargo shirts, in one of his old worn out gray t-shirts,
Mhm.
sticking one nostril at a time in a glass of wine.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then it kills me every time the declaration of like this one. That's the peppery notes. This one, the fruit. You get the fruit in there, and then
Every time.
that's called smelling, and you can smell both out of both. You know? No, I think that's a great.
I thought it was a worthy story for the pod.
I think it's good, and I want more people to experiment with that technique
Yeah,
and
chat, if
find
you
that it is wrong.
yeah, give it a shot yourself. Try it at home. Yeah.
It looks like you're just doing drugs in a bathroom.
It's just lemon.
It's just
It's just lemon and
just
vodka.
lemon. That's nuts. How does it feel to be on a podcast?
You know what? I'm a little nervous simply because I hate the sound of my own voice, so I will never rewatch this.
Nope, you don't have to. It's not for you.
But it's just chatting with you. I mean, you're my husband, so
Right.
we're just chatting on a patio.
We do this on the reg.
In all honesty, even if the cameras weren't here, this is what we would be doing right now.
This is probably the exact level of conversation
Yeah, that's what we would be doing already.
that'd be happening. I'm trying to think if I have any other questions.
I have one.
You have a question? Or a topic?
I just want it, since we're on food, I want like a tier list of fast food places in your humble opinion.
Tier list of fast food places.
Or just give me like fave and least favorite fast food places. Give me your hot takes, your opinions.
As someone who doesn't have fast food often enough where I could not tell the difference between fries, like a McDonald's fry versus a Wendy's fry.
Oh, I could tell the difference. I never eat at fast food. I could tell the difference between Wendy's and McDonald's.
I think I can try to go like
McDonald's is better.
so like you want like a top 5? Top 5?
Or fave. Fave and least fave.
Fave? I think my favorite fast food place is Chick-fil-A.
The Lord's Chicken.
The Lord's Chicken. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
All God's people said.
Make the sign of the cross.
My pleasure. I think Chick-fil-A is my favorite place because
Mhm.
I think they make a good chicken sandwich. I have 3 reasons.
Okay.
They make a good chicken sandwich.
Mhm.
I have not had Popeyes yet, which people say you need to try if you're going to even compare what a good chicken sandwich is, because that's the main contender. And 3, they are nowhere near us at this moment in time, and so it's a treat and a luxury to be able to go to Chick-fil-A rather than, say, a McDonald's down the street.
That's true.
And
I'm gonna
so
agree with you on all those points.
for all those points, I think Chick-fil-A is my number one. Call me a basic Christian. But I think they make a good chicken sandwich. I think they make a good spicy chicken sandwich.
Mhm.
I think that's pretty good. I really like their fries. I really like their lemonade.
Oh, I love a waffle fry.
A waffle fry is,
Waffle
I
fry.
think it's ergonomically made to capture the most amount of sauce, and I'm a sauce guy. I really like my sauce.
Hmm.
I need the I need the tasty wet on there.
Tasty wet. That's why I was waiting for you to say that.
It's like I need food with the tasty wet. Um, and I think the waffle fries are ergonomically made to hold the most amount of
Hmm.
sauce on
Hmm.
there. Really like their lemonade, and I think just all around, I'm in a happy spot after I go to a Chick-fil-A
Hmm.
for the most part.
Hmm.
So that's my number one.
Yes.
That's my number one.
Yes.
My number two,
Hmm.
it's Taco Bell.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
because I like Mexican food, and I think that honestly, I've been let down kind of by like Taco Time.
I like Taco Time.
I know, and people say that it's better, and I agree with it, but I want that trashy, I want just liquid garbage. If you're gonna sin, go all the way. I don't,
I don't
I
think
do,
that's how God works.
and I won't live by that statement. But in the instance of Taco Time and Taco Bell, if
Hmm.
you're gonna sin, go all the way.
Okay.
If I'm gonna get terrible burrito, I'm gonna get a terrible burrito. I'm gonna get a terrible burrito, and I'm gonna go to Taco Bell. I also just feel like I can get the more bang for their buck. I love their hot sauce. I don't really like the hot sauce that Taco Time offers.
I'll give you that. I don't like it either.
I I I just don't vibe with it
Hmm.
as well. And so I think Taco Bell, if I'm really fixing for a suffer, I w-
If
I
you're
w-
looking for a night at home,
a night at home where I don't have to move and I feel like grease is coming out my pores.
hmm
Taco Bell is gonna be that sort of guilty pleasure of eating food that should never be equated to Mexican food whatsoever. Does a huge disservice to an actual authentic Mexican meal,
hmm
unlike Chihuahuas. And
I can't.
no, so that'd be my number two. Um, Number three.
Well, I don't want your least favorite.
Oh, my least
Give me the bottom of the barrel. You could be starving and you wouldn't step foot.
Okay. I'm gonna assume that it's Arby's because I've it's because I've never set foot in an Arby's.
Okay, I'm also talking about things you can speak from experience on.
Sure, but if you're looking at fast food, if you said something I would never set foot in, it's gonna be an Arby's. Um, don't have your tagline be "We got the meats." Don't be saying that. I don't want to know about your meat. I, don't tell me about it. That's not consent. But I think something that I have tried that would be truly bottom of the barrel,
Hmm.
without fail, is Jack in the Box.
Crap in a box.
Crap in a box.
Exactly.
I think they put just a ejaculatory amount of mayonnaise.
I hate that description
I
word.
hate when I look at the burger and I see mayonnaise, squirting out of both sides on there. It's bad. It's really bad. They also put more iceberg lettuce than should be allowed in anything.
It's more than a head.
And so you get the butt ends of a tomato, you get the most amount of watered down iceberg lettuce you've ever seen, and you get an entire shard of mayonnaise.
You're really on a roll with words right now.
This is what I see. This is what I witness in there. I open what's their sandwich called? The Big Jack, the Jack and a Crack,
I have no idea.
the Jack.
I don't eat there.
I don't even remember. It's gonna come to me later. I
You're
feel like I know what that was.
gonna edit it in later.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not going to.
Google it yourselves.
That's how little I care. People know what I'm talking about. That's how little I care about it. Is that I open that sandwich and I'm like I am truly disgusted out of everything. I once tried their 50-cent tacos, 99-cent tacos.
I remember
I
that.
don't remember what it was. You could have wrung out the grease in that thing. It was like eating a nasty taquito. Just awful. And I was like, ooh, I probably get more bang for my buck. Like I said, I'll eat a shitty taco. I was like, I'll get like a 99-cent taco. That's fine. 2 for 99 cents. Well, I don't know what their deal is. And I got it, and I probably got like 3 orders of this taco, so like 6 tacos. 2 tacos in, I'm on death row.
Like big ol' no.
Big ol' na. And I have not had anything redeeming. No, the one thing redeeming is their curly fries.
I can't get down with curly fry.
No?
I think the shape is wrong.
That's the point.
Don't put your fry in spiral.
It's more fry per fry.
No. I don't want it.
Okay, the only thing that I would give them is their curly fries. Everything else is bad.
I think a curled fry is the worst shape of the second worst shape a fry can be.
What's the worst?
Crinkle cut.
Crinkle cut.
Hate it.
Why?
Wrong. Like my bottom tier for a fry cut, crinkle cut, spiral fry.
Crinkle cut holds the most amount of like fry seasoning.
Never had a good crinkle fry. They're all soggy and like a little bit cold and
Okay.
like, but also
Not many-
mushy
Not many places serve crinkle cut, so it's usually
because they're the worst.
It's usually coming out of someone's like home oven.
The
and
worst.
No one knows how to fry them properly, and so yeah, they're gonna be soggy.
I do not like a crinkle cut fry.
What about steak fries?
I'll eat a steak fry all day.
Like Red Robin?
Yeah, all day.
Red Robin steak fries?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Obviously, but that's not fast food. That's just a steak fry.
No, it's not, but it's a good ass fry.
It's a good ass fry.
It's a good ass fry. So Jack in the Box definitely. Out of the things I've tried, that has to be at the bottom.
Mhm.
Terrible, terrible food. Regardless,
Mm-hmm.
I think if I was going back to my favorite, I'll pick a top 3. That's what I do.
Okay.
We have Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
We have Taco Bell.
Yes.
And then, like, I love a good burger, so I will actually put a burger place
Mhm.
in there.
Which one?
Which one? I really like Wendy's.
This-
I really like
I
Wendy's
can't with you. Why?
because I think they make a good burger. I think they make a good burger. And you know what it is?
When Dairy Queen is on the option, I like a Dairy Queen burger.
No. I think they do ice cream way better.
They do ice cream way better. Do you know who we never support? Burger King.
What do you mean we don't
Never.
support Burger King?
Never. I will never step foot in a Burger King.
As someone
I
who
do not support a monarchy of burgers.
as the monarchy of burgers.
Like there's no place for a monarchy in this capitalist country.
I know I said before that I can't really identify fries based off of where they are. Burger King has good fries.
I'm also speaking out of my ass because I actually don't eat fast food. I had no idea. I just hate Burger King for arbitrary reasons.
For arbitrary reasons.
Yeah.
For the concept of the
It's-
king of the burgers.
I just hate them. I feel like they give off douchey vibes. Just as not the people that work there, but if the company is a person, douchebag.
Fair enough.
It's a no for me.
Fair enough. I feel like I've known shitty people who were like, "Oh yeah, I worked at Burger King."
Oh, we've known great people that work at Dairy Queen, so
I've known great people that work at Dairy Queen. Still, I would only go there for ice cream. I would not go for a burger. I ate a Dairy
I will
Queen
only go to
burger.
fast food for ice cream.
To Dairy Queen for ice
No,
cream?
I only go to fast food places if I want ice cream. I don't go to fast food if I'm hungry. I go to fast food when I want ice cream.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I'd have to put Wendy's at number 3. There's something about their burgers. There's
I've
something.
never had a Wendy's burger.
They have awful fries.
Okay.
And
I'm just trusting you.
yeah.
I'll just believe you.
I mean, we could go to Wendy's and you can see how bad their fries are.
Well, we're driving home tomorrow.
They're so
We should get dinner.
They're so greasy. They are like they give you that little paper bag, saturated.
It's supposed to be a sponge. It's not supposed to be a bag.
Translucent. I'm like, that's a Ziploc bag that you just gave me. That's awful.
That bag they gave you, it was not to contain your food. It was to sop up the grease of your food.
It wasn't. It didn't work. It did not work. So I feel like I don't think I've had enough fast food. McDonald's is not on the list. Terrible food.
Mhm.
Terrible food, McDonald's. I don't think I've had enough fast food just in general to put any more onto a list of
That's all right.
things that I like.
I just wanted to ask you questions, man.
I appreciate it
I'm
wholeheartedly.
just learning more about you.
I think I would go to Chick-fil-A, and then my next choice would be Taco Bell, and then my next choice would be Wendy's.
Okay.
And Wendy's is right on that cusp where like if I'm hungry for like lunch or something and I see a Wendy's, it's kind of a coin flip on if I'm gonna even get fast food. I could be like maybe Wendy's, maybe nothing, you know? Whereas the other things, if like I saw Taco Bell, it's like I could convince myself that I'd want Taco Bell.
Yeah.
I could easily convince myself I want Chick-fil-A.
Crunchwrap Supreme.
Crunchwrap Supreme.
And a dirty Baja Blast.
And a dirty Baja Blast.
Yes.
You can't get them dirty. You can just make
I can make it dirty.
You can make a dirty Baja Blast.
I can make any soda dirty.
True.
Before we wrap up, This is not food related, but as I was thinking about recording a podcast with you,
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think of funny stories if we diverged from food. We did not diverge from food.
No, but this isn't a food podcast, so I figured we'd be touching on other topics.
I do have a really embarrassing story to tell you. Personally embarrassing.
I can't leave it on a cliffhanger. I have to include the story. Is it about you?
Yeah.
Or is it about me?
No, it's about me. It's something I did that keeps me up at night.
I have to know.
Like every time I think about it, it brings me to my knees.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. I'm a really
Have I heard this story?
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think I've told you this story.
This summer is our 2-year wedding anniversary, and I haven't heard this embarrassing story.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm very excited.
It's pretty bad.
Please go ahead. Is this a mission story?
Like from a mission trip?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, because there's some wild.
That's not embarrassing. Those are just bad.
Okay.
No, this is embarrassing. I was like legitimately like I feel bad.
I will shut up now. Please go ahead.
Okay. I'm really hoping none of the people involved are going to listen to this.
It doesn't matter.
Unlikely.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. So like 4 or 5 years ago, I was new to the new house I was living in. I was like 19. I was trying to make new friends because I was in a new area.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to make friends with my neighbor, who was my age.
Yeah.
And I would just walk across our field and into his field, and I was dropping something off, I think. I don't know. I don't remember. Anyway, I was over there, and he was telling me
No.
because they live on a big farm. They had farm animals.
Yeah.
So he had his dog. So when he moved, he was also a recent transplant. Like he was new to the area.
Okay.
So he wanted to get a dog.
Sure.
First dog died.
Ah,
First dog died
I almost laughed. I'm
because
not gonna laugh about that.
because they kind of had the mindset that they were in farming country, so the dog could roam free. We are in farming country, but it's developed enough you can't just let your dogs just do what they want.
No.
So he kind of just let the dog roam free and it got hit by a car.
Yeah, cars tend to do that.
So he got a second dog. So when I was over there, he was telling me his second dog got hit by a car. This dog did live with brain
That's
damage.
almost worse.
This dog did live. It had brain damage.
That's worse.
It was a very funny dog because it was
disabled.
It was disabled. But when he was telling me the story, and I truly, my filter failed.
Oh no.
I said this before I even knew what I was saying.
Oh no.
I quoted Queen, a song by Queen.
Oh
and
my gosh.
I said, another one bites the dust.
You can't do that.
And I just immediately was like, please let the swallow be whole right now. And no one laughed. No one got the song reference. I even said it in a tune.
Oh no.
I sang it because
You sang it.
sang it.
No.
I did. I thought it'd be
He's
funny.
like, yeah, my dog is...
I thought I was bringing some levity to a situation.
My dog, he's been eating out of a tube for a while. We got him in a little wheelchair. And you're like,
Another one bites the dust.
You're like, that's what you should have said when you were trying to give him CPR, when you were trying to revive him.
I just, do you see, every time I think about it, it brings me to my knees.
How many people witnessed this?
Like, his parents, who I'm still friends with.
No.
It's like his family and me. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad.
I'm so sorry.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
And then the next week, I accidentally made fun of his religion that I did not know he was a part of until he told me after I made an insensitive joke.
He's
So
like,
it was a real L week for me.
he's like, yeah, Mom, the girl next door, she just hates me.
It was really a 1-2 punch. Like I was just I was getting him.
Yeah.
But really life was getting me.
Yeah.
Egg was on my face. I was really taking it that week.
Wow. That's so unfortunate. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah. I hadn't told you that story, had I?
I know. No, I don't remember that one. I know the moments where, the intrusive thought comes to the head and you're like,
You're saying something without even realizing it.
I gotta say it. I gotta say it at this point. And then, yeah, you did not take into account that you had to read the room.
Nope. Didn't read the room. That was not on my mind. In fact, nothing was on my mind. I said it truly without another thought. There was no thoughts in my head. It was an empty box.
Yeah, there's no thoughts in the dog's head now.
That dog is a sweet dog too.
Oh no.
I do love that dog.
Oh no. Well,
he did rehome the dog a couple years later.
Yeah, he's like, don't sing to this dog. Doot, doot, doot.
Oh boy, howdy.
That's wild.
Well, I just really needed to share that.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
I hope this is a safe space.
What if I just included that as like the open story?
That'd be not the Heil Hitler. Like, which one are you opening with?
Hey, I didn't say what I did. I didn't say what it was.
Your innocuous gesture by accident.
I said I accidentally made a gesture, and it's not there anymore.
It's really a coin toss on what your opener is going to be.
I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this, aren't I?
Mhm.
This is gonna be very
Good for you.
Oh, thank you.
You know what? I might rewatch this.
You might, just for that, just that one scene.
I might rewatch this just to see if we're funny or if we think we're funny.
Oh, well, I planned on not giving a darn if I'm funny or not. But you know,
Mhm.
so be it.
Mhm.
We need like a saying. We need like a send-off phrase. You know how like now I'm forgetting the name of that podcast. They're like fiddle off.
Fiddle. Oh, things I learned last night.
Things I learned last night. They're like, yeah, fiddle off. Like, oh yeah, remember that one guy who died? Remember what his famous saying was? Remember that song quote I said to a dog that was dying? Like, yeah, which one? Yeah, fiddle off. I feel like we need like a phrase along the lines of that.
We need a sign out.
Yeah, I think we'll just say
What about a crisp handshake?
a crisp handshake.
Yeah.
Can you dap?
I refuse to. I can, but I won't.
You refuse to dap.
I won't.
I'll do a crisp
A
handshake.
crisp handshake.
That's
I
how
like it.
That's how we
That's how we signed our marriage
how we
license.
consummated the marriage.
The crisp handshake.
It was a crisp handshake. I gave you a crisp handshake and I rolled over. I said goodnight, my new wife. So we'll put her there. It has to make a sound though.
Okay. Wait. I need to get my cup out of the way.
Out of the way.
Okay, let me scooch. Okay.
3, 2, 1. See you next time.